Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are really accelerating to maximum velocity because we're tackling a massive challenge in game design.
We really are. We're looking at that intersection of pure fan passion, tabletop gaming, and just raw kinetic speed.
Exactly. We're exploring the framework of Blue Coast and Badniks, which is a fan-made tabletop RPG.
And the challenge it takes on is, well, it's fascinating. How do you possibly translate the frantic speed, the looping physics, the grinding on rails, all of that?
The iconic combat.
Right. How do you get that into a structured, turn-based D20 tabletop game?
That's the core of it, isn't it? When you think of Sonic, you think of a blur. You think of movement that just defies physics and fights that are over in seconds, not rounds.
So how can a system that relies on taking turns capture that feeling without just, grinding to a halt?
And that's our mission today. We're going to extract the core mechanics, we'll analyze the character design, and really dissect the combat to see how this chaos-fueled adventure actually works. We're looking for the why behind all these rules.
Our source for this is pretty exhaustive. We've got detailed excerpts from the comprehensive fan-written rulebook. You can just tell this was a labor of love. They tried to capture everything.
Every little detail, from a single crab meat's design all the way up to, Scrap Brain Island?
Yep.
Okay, but before we go even one step further, we have to make something absolutely critically clear.
Yes. This is mandated.
This entire system, Blue Coast and Badniks, is a passion project. It was developed independently by fans. It is 100% fan-made content.
We really need to emphasize this. Sega has absolutely nothing to do with this game.
Nothing whatsoever. It's completely unofficial. It's a creation by fans, for fans, and it's just meant to celebrate the universe. This is an analysis of a design philosophy. It is not an official product.
With that said, it's a really remarkable piece of reverse engineering. I mean, taking a game that's all about physics and speed and translating it into dice rolls, it's ambitious.
And they tackle that speed problem right from the very beginning. They define this core look of play that's all about keeping that velocity, that momentum going.
It's a smart distillation of what you actually do in the games. It's not just combat.
Right, it's this three-part loop. You're racing across these looping zones, you're smashing badniks to get rings, and you're always chasing something. Chaos Emeralds, Eggman's plans, whatever.
And to keep that pace, the turn structure itself is super simple, but also very deliberate. Every single turn, every character gets two things: a move and an action.
Move plus action. And making both mandatory is such a key choice. It completely prevents that thing you see in other RPGs where you just stand still and attack over and over.
Exactly. You are always moving.
And that move component covers everything you'd expect. Dashing, jumping, grinding on a rail, climbing. You're supposed to be covering huge distances.
Often with a check involved, too, like a skill roll to stay on a tricky rail or a speed roll to outrun a collapse.
And then you have your action. That's your attack, your cool stunt, using a gadget or, hitting a switch.
By forcing the move first, the game makes sure positioning matters every single turn. The battlefield is never static.
So all of that is governed by the core dice mechanic, which is pretty familiar. It's a D20 system.
Yeah, all your rolls are the same. You roll a D20, you add your stat, and you try to beat a difficulty class, a DC. Simple, reliable, super easy to teach.
But, and this is where it gets clever, they inject that Sonic-style chaos and, volatility right into the dice rolls themselves.
They do. They talk about these swingy results, making sure that every single roll has some narrative weight to it.
It's like they're leaning into the high variance of the D20. A natural 20, a crit, isn't just a hit. It's a double effect.
Right. So if you're attacking, you're doing double damage. If you're doing a stun, maybe you get a huge burst of speed and get a whole extra move. It captures that perfect moment, hitting a spring just right.
And the opposite is true, too. A natural 1 is a critical fail, a fumble. And it's not just, oh, you missed.
No, the GM gets to decide on a specific negative effect. You might smash into a wall and lose all your momentum, or you could drop half your rings from the impact. Or worse, trigger a trap.
Okay, I have to stop you there and just sort of challenge that a little bit. Sonic games are about precision and skill. So why would you anchor your system to a D20, which is famously swingy? A super skilled character still has that 5% chance to just catastrophically fail.
That's a great question, and I think the rulebook kind of addresses this by tying the fumble to a narrative risk, not just a mechanical one. The idea is, in this super high-speed world, even the best hero can hit a weird angle on a ramp or misjudge a curve.
So it's about preventing complacency.
Exactly. It makes sure that even on an easy task, there's always that tiny bit of tension. It reflects the chaotic nature of a world Eggman is constantly messing with. You're fast, but the world is unstable.
I see. So the unpredictability of the physics engine gets translated into a dice mechanic. That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've got speed, we've got volatility. Let's talk about the heroes who live in this world. Part 1, creating your Sonic hero.
Right, and the creation process starts with a really smart constraint that immediately forces you to specialize, which is key for any team-based game.
What's the constraint?
You get exactly 10 points, and you have to distribute those 10 points across 6 core stats.
Only 10 points for 6 stats. Wow. So you can't be good at everything. You can maybe be great at 2 things, maybe okay at 3, but that's it.
That's the whole point. It ensures heroes start out powerful because they need to be, but they are specialized from the get-go. It forces teamwork.
Because if everyone is just a speedster, you're not going to get through Scrap Brain Island.
Precisely. If your hedgehog player maxes out speed and skill, and your fox player maxes out tech and endurance, they need each other to solve the zone's puzzles. They're dependent on each other's skills.
Okay, so let's break down those 6 stats. They seem to map pretty perfectly to the character archetypes.
They do. First, and most obviously, is speed. It's the lifeblood of the game. It governs your movement distance, your evasion, your ability to chase things down. If you want to be the blur, this is where your points go.
Then you have strength. This is your brute force option. Raw damage, lifting things, breaking walls, the knuckle stat.
Simple and effective. After that is endurance. This is your health, your stamina for, a long climb, and your resistance to hazards. It's your staying power.
And now we get into the more clever stats. Skill. This covers your precision, platforming, tricky stuff like wall running, acrobatics.
Yeah, it's about finesse.
Yeah.
A high-skill character might not be the fastest, but they're the one who can navigate a corridor full of spikes without a scratch.
Then there's tech. Absolutely essential. This is for your gadget users, for hacking Eggman's computers, for interacting with all those industrial puzzles. It's the brains of the operation.
It's how you bypass problems instead of just smashing through them.
And finally, a stat that I find really fascinating because you don't always see it in games like this. Charm.
I agree. Including charm is a huge statement about the kind of game they want this to be. It's for persuasion, social stuff, recruiting allies, inspiring people to rise up against Eggman.
So it's not just about being a combat machine. It's about being a hero, a symbol of hope.
Exactly.
But let me push back on that again. If I only have 10 points, and speed and skill and tech are so vital for just getting through a level, aren't I creating a useless character if I put points in charm? Is there a trap build here?
That's a fair concern, but they mitigate it by making sure every stat has some use in the core gameplay loop. A high charm hero, for example, might not hit hard, but they could make a charm check mid-mission to convince a powerful NPC to join the fight.
So they add another combatant to the party.
Or they might talk a Nurse Egg Pawn into dropping its guard, creating a huge opening for the strength hero to exploit. It trades direct power for strategic influence.
That makes sense. It's about playing the bigger story, not just the punching. So once your stats are set, you pick your species, hedgehog, fox, echidna, or even a custom hybrid.
But the real depth comes from what they call flavor options. This is where you anchor your character in a specific version of the Sonic universe.
Oh, like the different comics and games.
Exactly. You can choose the Mania flavor, which is lighter and more adventurous, or the Archie flavor, which has all that deep continuity and high stakes, or even the Fleetway flavor, which is, well, it's often more morally complex.
So what does that actually do in the game?
It sets the tone and consequences. If you pick Mania, a failure might just mean you lose your rings. But if you pick Fleetway, the GM is encouraged to introduce serious narrative consequences for using your big powers.
Like what?
Like maybe using a chaos ability forces you to make a check to avoid temporary exhaustion, or it causes an emotional backlash, simulating that loss of control you saw in those comics. It's about managing expectations for how serious the story is.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
After that, you pick 2 or 3 signature abilities, your core moves.
And they're the classics you'd expect. You've got your spin attack, your homing attack, then more specialized stuff like a gadget shot, which is tied to tech, or a chaos dash, which is a burst of speed tied to, well, chaos.
And you start with some basic gear too, right?
Yep. A few rings, a basic shield, a basic gadget. You're ready to go from the start.
And all of this is tied together with skills, which build on top of your stats.
Right. It's about applied knowledge. For example, you've got acrobatics, which uses your skill stat for all that fancy platforming.
Engineering, which pairs with tech for hacking and repairs.
Combat techniques for advanced moves using strength or speed. And even elemental control for characters who tap into fire or chaos energy.
And all the checks are the same. D20 plus stat plus skill modifier against a DC. Fast, clean, consistent.
It has to be, to keep the game moving. And that speed carries over into how you level up. You get XP for missions and bosses, but also for collecting rings and, importantly, for performing creative stunts.
So the game is mechanically rewarding you for playing with style.
It absolutely is. And a level up feels significant. You get to increase 2 stats by +1 or 1 by +2, and you unlock a new ability or make an old one better.
So you're always getting stronger, but because you started so specialized, you're just getting better at your job, not breaking the game.
Exactly. You're reinforcing your role on the team. Which brings us perfectly to the part of the game that really defines the stakes. Part 2, combat and the ring buffer.
This is the thing. This is the mechanic that makes this game feel like Sonic and not just, D&D with blue hedgehogs.
It is the absolute cornerstone of the design. The ring buffer is so elegant. 1 ring equals 1 temporary hit point. Simple as that.
And rings are always lost first. You can't take actual damage until you're at 0 rings. It's your shield.
But here's where the tension comes in. The damage mechanic is brutal. When you get hit while you have rings, you lose half of them. Round it up.
Oof. So if you have 20 rings, 1 hit drops you to 10. If you have 10, you drop to 5.
It's a fantastic psychological tool. It makes you nervous about carrying a lot of rings. It's not a small penalty. 1 mistake can wipe out most of your defense instantly.
But they give you that iconic chance to get them back, right? The rings scatter.
They do. The GM can let you use a quick action to try and recollect some of them if they haven't bounced into a lava pit or something.
And that creates this incredible tactical choice.
It really does. You just got hit. Your rings are scattered everywhere. Do you use your action to attack the badnik that hit you? To stop it from doing it again?
Or do you use that same action to scramble for your lost rings, knowing the badnik is still active and could just hit you again next turn and finish you off?
It's a perfect risk-reward dilemma built right into the turn economy.
And the rings aren't just for defense. They're your power source.
Yes. You can choose to spend 10 rings to power up a special move, like a big chaos ability or a high-tech gadget.
So your defense is directly linked to your offense. If you want to unleash that big fight-ending attack, you have to make yourself completely vulnerable to do it.
It's brilliant resource integration.
So in a standard combat round, you've got your move plus action. You can attack, use an ability, interact with something, or defend.
And the attack examples really show how the stats matter. A spin attack is a D20 plus your strength. They see it as a raw, physical impact.
But a homing attack is D20 plus your speed. It's about precision targeting, velocity. The rules even say it could ignore some cover.
Then you have your gadget shot, which is pure tech, and a basic punch, which is strength again.
Yeah.
Each one feels distinct because of the stat it's tied to.
This all leads into a really important piece of design philosophy that's all over the rulebook, a mandate for the game master.
Yes. Do not make your characters overpowered.
Which is such a necessary rule for a universe where the main character can literally become an invincible golden god.
Right. Fan games can easily become wish fulfillment, but this one argues for keeping the stakes high. The moment the heroes can just breeze through a zone, the game stops being fun. The world has to feel dangerous.
So how do they enforce that mechanically?
Through specific limits. Powers have to be situational. They have triggers, ranges, and, most importantly, cooldowns. You can't just spam your best move.
And what about superforms?
This is the big one. Superforms are GM-only or temporary story tools. They are not a default mode for players. Reality-breaking power is for the climax of the story, not for every boss fight.
But isn't that frustrating for players who want that power fantasy?
It would be if it wasn't integrated thematically. They lean on the lore from the Archie and Fleetway comics, where great power always came with a great cost.
So using an overpowered move doesn't just cost rings, it costs you something more.
Exactly. It might cost you actual health points, or it might trigger environmental fallout, a chaos backlash, serious narrative complications.
So if I use some reality-bending power to destroy the boss, I might succeed, but I might also tear a hole in reality that we have to deal with next session.
That's precisely the idea. It turns a simple damage calculation into a high-stakes choice. Players have to decide when it's worth paying the price for that temporary godhood.
Okay, so moving from the theory of power to the actual threats. Part 3. Badniks and Zones.
The enemy design here is really smart. They don't have huge pools of health. They're designed for speed. Minor badniks have like 1 to 4 HP. Mini bosses have 5 to 8. It's all about rapid cinematic fights.
So it's more about their function than their durability.
Totally. Take a Buzz Bomber. It's got 3 HP. It flies in a pattern and shoots lasers. Its purpose is to force you into the air, to make you use your vertical movement and make a skill check just to get in position to hit it.
And then there's the crab meat, only 2 HP. It barely does any damage.
But its danger isn't damage. Its whole job is to push you off a platform into a pit of spikes. It's an area denial tool. It uses the environment to kill you.
It forces you to keep moving. You can't just stand there and take hits from it.
You can't. You have to prioritize it, not because it's hurting you, but because of what it's about to do to you.
Then you have the tougher ones, the egg pawn with 5 HP, the basic infantry.
And its weakness is listed as tech or disarm. That's a clear signal to the party's tech expert that they have a job to do. They can bypass its defenses in a way the strength hero can't.
And the Mecha Beetle, a 6 HP mini-boss with a high-speed charge and heavy armor.
And its weakness is flanking. Attacking from the back or above. It's a puzzle. If your strength hero just tries to punch it in the face for 2 rounds, they're wasting everyone's time.
You have to work together. The speed hero has to get behind it to create an opening.
Exactly. It's brilliant. You can't just spam your best stat.
And for the big bosses, like Dr. Eggman's Mecha Tank, they introduce phases.
Yeah, that one's got 20 HP. It starts out shooting at you from a distance, forcing you to make dodge checks. Then, once you damage it, it switches to close-range ramming attack.
Man, you can't even hurt the main body at first, right?
Right. You have to destroy its side turrets or its wheels first to make the cockpit vulnerable. It forces the team to focus their fire and attack from different angles. It's so cinematic.
And then there's a Chaos Emerald Guardian, which is even more dynamic.
Oh yeah, 15 HP, but its attacks change every single round. It might shoot fire, then put up a shield, then teleport behind you. It forces the whole team to adapt on the fly, using every stat they have.
And all these enemies are found in the sample adventure zones, which ramp up in difficulty.
Yep. You start in Blue Coast, beginner zone, gentle loops, beaches. It's where you learn the ropes.
Then you move to Mystic Jungle, medium difficulty. This is where the environment itself starts to fight you. Quicksand, deadly vines, ancient ruins that are falling apart.
And finally, Scrap Brain Island. High difficulty, a total industrial nightmare.
Conveyor belts, crushers, electrified floors, timed puzzles.
It's a zone that tests everything except maybe charm. You need your tech hero disabling traps and your skill hero navigating the platforms. The speed hero can get across a gap first, but they need the tech hero right behind them to shut down the crusher before the rest of the team can follow.
It's all about collaboration.
Always.
Okay, so we have the rules, the heroes, the enemies. Let's actually put it all together.
Yeah.
Part 4. Running the sample scenario. Defend Blue Coast Lighthouse.
Let's do it. This one is a perfect little showcase of all the core mechanics working together.
So how does it start?
It starts with phase 1, movement. The Badnik alarm goes off. The team needs to get to key defensive positions around the lighthouse before the first wave hits.
So this is where our speed and skill characters get to shine.
Exactly. The GM sets the DCs. Maybe dashing up the sheer cliff face is a DC 12 speed check. But grinding up that old rusty rail might be faster but riskier, so it's a DC 15 skill check.
Okay, so let's say my speed hero with a +4 bonus rolls a 16. That's a 20 total. I make it to the top. By the spring platform, I'm in position.
Perfect. Once everyone is in place, phase 2 begins. The initial Badnik spawn. The GM rolls 1d6 Buzz Bombers. Let's say 4 of them appear and start circling the lighthouse.
So we immediately have an aerial threat. And there's another objective, right? The lighthouse itself.
Yes, the lighthouse has its own health, say 10 HP. You have to protect it. You can't just ignore the Badniks because they'll destroy your objective. It's a time limit.
Okay, so now we're in phase 3. Combat. The Buzz Bombers go first. They shoot at my hero on the cliff.
Right. The Buzz Bomber rolls its attack, gets an 18. Your defense is 15. That's a hit.
I have 8 rings.
The shot connects. You lose half, round it up, so 4 of your rings explode and scatter across the platform. You're down to 4 rings. No actual damage, but you feel that. Your shield is weakened.
My turn. Okay, I have a choice. Attack or try to get my rings back. I'm going to risk it. I'll use my action for an aerial spin attack on the closest Buzz Bomber. It's a strength attack, and my strength is only +1.
You roll a 14, +1 is 15. The Buzz Bomber's defense is 13. That's a hit. You deal some damage, maybe 2 of its 3 HP. It's still flying.
Okay, so while I'm dealing with that, Our tech hero is on the beach below, taking out the crab meats that are showing up.
Exactly. They use their gadget shot, a tech check, and easily destroy a 2 HP crab meat.
And when they destroy it, they instantly get rings from it, right?
Yep, they collect 2 rings from the wreckage, boosting their own buffer. That's the resource loop right there. Kill to get power, use power to survive.
Things escalate, though. Phase 4, boss arrival.
As you're finishing off the Buzz Bombers, an egg pawn and a mecha beetle arrive together, and this is where teamwork becomes critical.
What's the tactical threat here?
The pairing. The mecha beetle starts charging, trying to knock people off platforms. It's pure area denial. Meanwhile, the egg pawn is guarding a generator switch that you need to hit.
So our strength hero has to go tie up the beetle, while our tech hero deals with the pawn.
That's the smart move. But the beetle's front armor is tough. Let's say the strength hero tries to punch it head-on and misses.
So the tech hero and my speed hero decide to use the optional tag team play rule on the pawn.
Great idea. Your speed hero uses their move to get into a flanking position, distracting the pawn. That's the setup.
Then we both roll for the attack. I roll a 15, the tech hero rolls a 19. We use the 19.
With the tech hero's high bonus, that's a guaranteed hit on the pawn, which is weak to tech anyway. And because it was a tag team move, you deal double damage. The 5 HP pawn is destroyed instantly.
We save the generator. And now the mecha beetle is all alone.
And now the team can coordinate to attack its weak spot on its back. The skill hero finds a way to bounce above it, and it's all over.
And for winning, Phase 5, rewards.
You get a Chaos Emerald fragment, a crucial story item. You each get 10 rings to start the next mission with a healthy buffer. And you've made allies in Blue Coast, which might come in handy later.
That's a great example. And the system has even more depth with optional rules and GM tips in Part 5.
Yeah, these are basically difficulty sliders. There's Chaos Mode for experienced groups. All the enemies get +2 to their main stats, and the DCs to dodge things get a little higher.
So even at a high level, you can't just get lazy. A basic buzz bomber can still be a threat.
It keeps you on your toes. Then there are time trials.
That seems obvious for a Sonic game.
It's a narrative reward for speed.
Yeah.
The GM says you have 10 rounds to get through this zone. If you do it, you get bonus loot. It mechanically rewards the game's core theme.
And the final one is that tag team play we just used.
Which is a fantastic way to reward coordination. You use the better of 2 rolls, and if you hit, you do double damage or add a status effect. It's how you make teamwork feel powerful.
The GM guidance section also has some really practical advice.
Yeah, good stuff. Adjust difficulty on the fly. If the players are crushing it, throw in a few more badniks. Keep things dynamic.
They also say to use surprise encounters.
Yeah.
A sudden landslide, Eggman taunting you over a loudspeaker.
And a huge one for GMs, use enemy templates to reskin badniks.
Oh, that's a lifesaver. You take the stats of a buzz bomber, but you say it's a little robotic owl that shoots ice pellets. Same mechanics. Totally new feel. Saves so much prep time.
They also recommend mapping zones as lanes or chunks instead of detailed grids. Start, middle, hazard, boss. It keeps the focus on cinematic speed, not counting squares.
And they encourage custom rules, hybrid abilities, as long as the table agrees. It's a flexible framework.
Looking back at the whole system, it's pretty amazing how well they modeled the core elements of Sonic.
Yeah, they absolutely nailed the importance of speed with the move plus action structure. And survivability with that ring buffer, which is both your health and your mana, basically.
The phase-based bosses that force you to work together. What really stands out is that even a max speed character is still in danger. The badniks are designed to use the environment against you. Speed isn't enough. You need the whole team.
So let's bring this all the way back to the beginning. The reward for that lighthouse scenario was a Chaos Emerald fragment. And the rules say collecting those can unlock a powerful move, maybe even a transformation.
Right, which links directly back to that strict rule. No godlike characters as a default. The game isn't saying you can never go super, it's saying you have to earn it and it will come at a cost.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. If collecting those fragments unlocks these temporary, incredibly powerful chaos abilities that get you close to that superform level,
Yeah.
how far can you actually push that power before the GM's consequence rules kick in?
And is that temporary taste of godhood really worth the risk of chaos backlash? The narrative fallout, the drain on your actual health, the loss of your rings. This system doesn't just give you power, it demands you respect it and pay the price for using it.
It's a brilliant question to end on for a wonderfully designed fan project. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Until next time, keep running fast.
And make sure your tech score is high enough for those scrap brain traps.